For big moves in the NFC North yesterday, the Vikings got Kirk Cousins, the Packers got Jimmy Graham, and we're joined by Rob Parker. Welcome, Rob.
What's happening?
How are you?
What did the Lions do? Oh, never mind.
They went 9-7 last year.
They signed Matthew Stafford last year.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking.
They franchised Ziggy Ansah, didn't they? I mean, what you want them to do?
Come on. I'm
Get
asking.
Barry Sanders out of retirement?
Rob, how do you rank the North now?
Worst to first.
There was some movement. Worst to first? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
All right, so worst I have the Lions.
Come on.
Do?
Yes.
They got Coach Pencil.
Okay.
Right?
Very nice. The Bears making a move.
Yeah.
They made a couple of moves yesterday.
Okay.
Then I got the Vikings, second place.
I knew it.
And the Packers have jumped over the Vikings.
By doing what with Muhammad Wilkerson?
No. By
Jimmy
basically,
Graham.
well, no, it's not just the Jimmy Graham move, but it's Aaron Rodgers. That's you can make, the other teams can make all the moves they want. You know this. This guy back healthy, and you're giving him some more weapons. I don't care who he's throwing to. I was shocked that Jordy Nelson was released.
Yes.
I mean, absolutely shocked. He is that Packer guy.
Aaron Rodgers was shocked, too.
Oh, I bet. And he's really a really good receiver. I mean, really. But it doesn't matter with Aaron Rodgers. I don't care who you put out there. He is going to get the football to him. He is going to be able to succeed. And in that division, he owns that division as long as he's playing. The other part that I saw was the last time he came off the broken collarbone. Do you remember? 2013. What happened in 2014?
MVP.
Won the MVP, 38 touchdown, 5 picks. I expect that kind of performance from Aaron Rodgers. We're talking about the
He beat the Cowboys.
Huh?
Remember that?
Wait a minute. The referees.
No. Stop, Skip.
Well, it was a
It's in the,
catch.
no, it
The
was
NFL
not.
admitted they blew it.
No,
they did
too.
Not that day. Not that day.
I said it should have been over that.
And the whole thing with the Kirk Cousins going to the Vikings. I applaud Kirk Cousins for getting a fully guaranteed contract. I really do. Your players' union, they should all take notice.
Oh, they do.
I would rather have a 3-year fully guaranteed than some bogus 7-year contract where you'll never see the end of the money.
You won't see year 3.
Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is really where it should be. So I applaud them for that.
Yes.
But I don't think they could play better than what they did last year, even with Kirk Cousins. And that defense was unbelievable a year ago. And Case Keenum, for whatever you want to move on, he played lights out. He played great.
He played great for 14 games.
And the other part that still bothers me, and maybe I'm the only one, but the Kirk Cousins thing still something doesn't feel right. When you draft a guy and you watch every single snap and you refuse to give that guy a contract, and he had success. I gotta wonder what's underlying that we don't know. What does Washington know that we don't know?
Hey, we've seen that a lot. Okay, why didn't Minnesota re-sign Teddy Bridgewater?
Well, but he's coming off an injury.
Sometimes a team, they will only view you in a certain light, and that's all they can ever see you as. And then it takes somebody else to view you in a different prism and says, okay, Kirk Cousins, you're not just looking at Kirk for 1 year. This is a 3-year venture. The body of work of him over the last 3 years compared to Case Keenum over 14 games. Is it more likely that Kirk will do what he did over the last 3 years with a better roster, or would it be more probable that Case Keenum would do what he did over 14 games? That's how they're looking at it, Skip. And while the record might come down, I believe they'll be a better team because they won't be so defensive dominant. There will be a natural regression. I don't believe you're going to go back and hold teams again to 30% third down completion, Skip, because that's the second highest rate since the merger.
Yeah.
So we know they're going to regress somewhat.
Maybe that's what they're looking at, that they know that they need more points, that there's no way that they'll be able to hold on to
they
that.
sure regressed at Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game, didn't they?
And what happened? Case Keenum, now remember that on those 2 playoff games, Case Keenum threw 3 picks. It was his pick that started this avalanche.
Yeah, but look at his numbers for the game. They're pretty good.
After the game was out of hand.
Remember what happened on the first drive of the game?
Went right down the field.
75 yards, 9 plays, touchdown, 7-0, visiting team,
And
Vikings.
And then all of a sudden, right.
How did Philadelphia get their first touchdown?
It was pick 6.
And then they went back with it. So
wait, how did Minnesota get to that game with one of the greatest throws in the history of pro football, the Minnesota Miracle? Who threw that ball?
Case Keenum.
Thank you.
But I got the Vikings in the 1 slot, Packers in the 2 slot, Lions in the 3, Bears in the 4. Because the Packers, Skip, I don't worry about Aaron Rodgers. They can't stop anybody.
No, I understand the defense is an issue, but I think that they have time through the draft, and they have some, and they're now making free agent moves that they haven't been making, right? So maybe they can shore up the defense.
Skip, if you don't mind, can you tell Rob where did Casey Hayward start his career? In Green Bay. What about Michael Hyde?
Brad Thompson drafted him. By the way, Casey Hayward went to where? Oh, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, we ain't talking about
Vanderbilt. Wait, who's the best cornerback in all of pro football? Casey Hayward. Who just got the biggest contract for any cornerback in pro? Casey Hayward. You started it.
I hate myself.
You started it. You opened your mouth.
The Green Bay Packers also had Michael Hyde, who went to the Pro Bowl with the Buffalo Bills. Now, they dipped their toe into free agency with Muhammad Wilkerson. As I told Skip earlier, it's hard for me to believe a guy would be motivated to play for $8 million when he was very unmotivated to play for $15 million. That's what I'm saying about Mo Wilkerson. Now, if he plays like he played to get that contract and not like he played after he got that contract, they're in business, Skip. But I don't worry about Aaron Rodgers because I know what he's capable of doing. He's a generational player. He's transcendental.
Okay. So if he is transcendental, I'm with Rob Parker on this. You should put them number 1.
No.
I just don't. I'm with Rob. I've been saying this for like 6 months on the show.
You've been saying it for 2 years.
2 years is that I don't trust Kirk Cousins.
Don't do that. That man there is
You sound like the general manager of the.
I do not trust Kirk Cousins to live up to $28 million guaranteed next year. That's outrageous. He has become the most overpaid quarterback in the history of pro football. And you know and I know he will not be able to play better than Case Keenum did last year because that was all time, man. 22 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, QBR of 71, second only to your man Carson Wentz. It was a special year by a pretty good quarterback who's going to be pretty good for your Denver Broncos. And I don't blame John Elway for saying, give me one more year of that and I'll be okay. Bridge me to my next quarterback.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna save $12 million, you're gonna save you're gonna save $70 million in guaranteed money.
Right. Well, I don't trust Kirk Cousins, and I'll give you this. Like by far, times 5, Aaron Rodgers is still the best quarterback in this division. So I'm going to pick his team. I still like Matt Stafford. I don't love him, and I agree. You've made a great point, and I keep sitting back saying, okay, show me one signature, but he's going to win you 9 games, and maybe if they get lucky, he'll win you 10, and they'll be in the playoffs. And occasionally they slip in the playoffs and go nowhere.
But you got to admit, after all these years, we're approaching 10 years with Stat Patford. He doesn't have a playoff win. I mean, and when you go
look,
the
first pick in the draft.
He's like, his record is like 5-46 against teams that finish over 500. This is, and then when people always say, oh, he doesn't have anybody. At one time, he had Sue and Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
He had 2 of the best players in the game, one on offense, one on defense, and they still couldn't win a playoff game. So until I see the Lions, until they actually do it, I'm out on them, and I will let the Bears leapfrog over them.
Okay. And I'm not a Mitchell Trubisky fan, but you give that kid Allen Robinson, who I am a fan of, and Trey Burton, who I like a lot, and Taylor Gabriel, who I also like. You give him all 3 of those, they're going to win a couple of games in this division.
Yeah, but the 7th pick in the draft, White, the wide receiver, can't get on the field. That's why they took that guy. They took him high. That's why they were willing to part ways with Brandon Marshall.
I really liked him.
Yeah, he was a monster.
He was a literal monster. I mean, he just went over and beasted people.
Everybody.
Yeah, and he just can't get healthy.
He can't. No. He can't.
So you got the Vikings winning the division.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I didn't say that. I say right now. Here we are. We're in March.
You have lost all faith in Aaron Rodgers. After he went nuts on social media yesterday, you just said, I'm out.
No.
Huh?
Skip. Come on now. Look at the defense. We know what the Packers do.
No, it's defense is the issue.
That's always been.
But Adams, he has Cobb.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I'm talking about defense. Give me somebody on defense.
Clay Matthews.
I'm gonna miss Jordy Nelson. Jordy, just don't go to the Patriots. I'll watch it. Just don't go to the
Well, why you tell the man where not to go to? He got to go to where to pay him and give him a chance.
Rob, thanks for joining us. Has Ty Lue lost control of the Cavs? We'll discuss that next.
a road that